Welcome to Hash Speaks Finance. Today we're looking at Mark Tilbury's approach to wealth building. He's got some really interesting ideas about how to make that leap, from where you are financially right now to becoming a millionaire. One of the things Tilbury really emphasizes is this whole concept of the performance gap. So it's basically the distance between where you are financially right now and that goal of becoming a millionaire. And he says millionaires are kind of obsessed with closing that gap. But it's not about greed. It's more about this mindset shift. Think about it. If you're really committed to reaching any goal, you're going to constantly be thinking about it, looking for ways to make it happen. And that's what sets millionaires apart. They're not just, daydreaming about being wealthy. They're actively pursuing it every single day. And Tilbury's a great example of this himself. He became a millionaire in his 20s, and he's really honest about how he didn't start out with any special advantages or anything like that. He just had this burning desire to close that performance gap.
And that drive led him to find creative solutions and opportunities that other people just might have missed. So how do you actually go about closing this performance gap? Well, Tilbury lays out a really practical framework. And it all starts with finding what he calls your value zone. He uses this Venn diagram to illustrate it, with 3 circles representing things you love to do, things you're good at, and things that people will actually pay you for. It's easy to kind of fall into the trap of just focusing on one of those circles.
Right.
You might love your job, but you struggle to make ends meet. Or maybe you're incredibly talented at something, but there's just no market for it. Nobody's willing to pay you for it. Or maybe you're stuck in this well-paying job that you absolutely hate. The real magic happens when you find that sweet spot, where all 3 of those circles overlap. That's your value zone. It is where your passions and your skills and that market demand all come together. Tilbury actually found his own value zone by combining his love for model helicopters with his skill in building them.
He recognized that there were people out there who were willing to pay for that expertise. And that led him to open multiple model shops, and he even created his own brand of models that he sold all over the world. He didn't just stumble into this success. He strategically positioned himself within that value zone. Once you've figured out your value zone, the next step is choosing the right vehicle. He uses this analogy of a motorbike and a sidecar to drive you towards your financial goals. So the motorbike represents your active income, the money you're earning from your job or from your business. And the sidecar represents passive income, the money that's working for you even while you're sleeping. And Tilbury is a big advocate for service-based businesses as your active income vehicle. Especially when you're first starting out, they typically have pretty low startup costs. You can often do them in your spare time. And they have the potential to generate a significant income. Think about it. What service could you offer within your value zone? What problems are you uniquely positioned to solve for other people? But it's not just about earning money.
It's also about making that money work for you. And that's where the sidecar, that passive income comes in. Tilbury is all about investing for the long haul. Forget those get-rich-quick schemes. Real wealth is built through consistent, smart investing. He points to the S&P 500 index fund as a prime example. We all know stocks can be pretty volatile in the short term, but historically speaking, over a period of 20 years or more, the S&P 500 has consistently delivered positive returns. The key is to harness the power of compound interest. Your money earns interest, and then that interest earns interest, and so on and so forth. It creates this snowball effect, and over time, that can lead to significant wealth accumulation. Now, here's where a lot of people get tripped up. They treat investing like it's just another side hustle. They're constantly chasing those quick returns. But Tilbury argues that that's not how you build lasting wealth. Instead, you need to shift your mindset and view investing as this long game, a steady climb toward financial freedom. Okay, so let's say you've got your active vehicle humming along, you've got your passive investments steadily growing. Now what?
Tilbury's is time to really focus your resources. Now, you've probably heard all about the importance of multiple income streams. And while that can definitely be beneficial down the road, Tilbury believes that especially when you're starting out, spreading yourself too thin can actually hinder your progress. Think about it. You have limited time, money, and energy. Trying to divide those resources across multiple different ventures can lead to burnout and a lack of focus. It's like trying to juggle too many balls at once. Eventually, you're going to drop something. Instead, Tilbury recommends a more targeted approach. Pick one primary goal, the one that aligns most closely with your value zone, and pour your resources into that. He suggests taking an honest look at how you're currently spending your time, your money, and your energy. A simple way to do this is to actually create a list of your daily activities and then estimate what percentage of your time, your money, and your energy each one consumes. You might be surprised to see how much you're dedicating to things that aren't actually moving you closer to your goals. Identifying those resource drains allows you to make conscious choices about where to redirect your efforts. Now let's be real for a second. As you're working toward your financial goals, you're going to face obstacles along the way. That's just part of the journey. But the key is not to let those obstacles become excuses for giving up. Tilbury makes a really important distinction between obstacles and excuses. Obstacles are those external challenges that stand between you and your dreams. You know, the roadblocks, the setbacks, the unexpected detours. Excuses, on the other hand, are what happen when you allow those obstacles to become reasons for inaction. They're the stories we tell ourselves about why we can't achieve something. He even goes so far as to say that excuses are the #1 reason why people fail to reach their financial goals. They get stuck in this cycle of "I can't," instead of looking for ways to overcome those challenges and to break free from that mindset. He suggests asking yourself this question: I know you can't right now, but if you could, what would you do? This simple shift in perspective forces you to move from dwelling on the problem to actively seeking solutions. It's about brainstorming, getting creative, and trying different approaches until you find what works. It's about persistence and a refusal to let those obstacles dictate your outcomes. Remember, obstacles are inevitable, but excuses are a choice. And here's something that Tilbury emphasizes that might surprise you. Continuous learning is absolutely essential for closing that performance gap. Think about how compound interest works with your investments, right? Well, the same principle applies to knowledge. The more you learn, the more you build upon that foundation, and the more equipped you become to make smart decisions and achieve success. Think of it like building a tower of blocks. Each block represents a new piece of knowledge or a skill that you acquire. As you continue to learn and grow, that tower gets taller and stronger. But if you stop learning, the tower stays stagnant, and eventually it becomes unstable. You need that constant influx of new knowledge to keep growing and evolving. Tilbury draws a really powerful parallel between financial wealth and intellectual wealth. Just as consistent investing leads to exponential growth in your portfolio, consistent learning leads to exponential growth in your knowledge and abilities, and this applies to everyone, regardless of your age or your background. He encourages you to constantly challenge yourself, step outside of your comfort zone, and embrace new experiences, whether it's taking a course, reading a book, attending a workshop, or just having conversations with people who know more than you do about a particular subject. Every opportunity to learn adds another valuable block to your tower of knowledge. He points out that when you stop learning, you essentially stop growing. And in today's rapidly changing world, standing still is basically the same as falling behind. You have to keep pushing yourself to expand your horizons, to delve deeper into your areas of interest, and to stay ahead of the curve. Remember, the knowledge that you acquire compounds over time, just like your investments. It equips you to make better decisions, solve problems more effectively, and navigate the complexities of life and business with greater confidence. So make continuous learning a non-negotiable part of your journey. It's the fuel that powers your growth and propels you towards your goals. And that's where this whole idea of the compounding effect comes in. Not just with money, but with knowledge as well. Tilbury argues that the knowledge you accumulate over time compounds in the same way as your investments. It's like building a wall brick by brick. Each new piece of knowledge you acquire adds another brick, making the wall stronger and taller. But here's the thing Tilbury's observed, that many people kind of stop actively learning after they finish school. Their knowledge base plateaus, which ultimately limits their potential. But imagine if you committed to constantly learning, adding those bricks to the wall. Your knowledge base would grow exponentially. It wouldn't just make you smarter, but it would help you make better decisions across all areas of your life, including your finances. So how do you actually apply this well? Tilbury emphasizes the importance of continually challenging yourself, picking up new skills, and broadening your knowledge base. Think about reading books, taking courses, attending workshops, or even just talking to people who know more than you about a particular subject. The point is to cultivate curiosity and never stop learning. Make continuous learning a fundamental part of your life. Remember, the more you know, the more you grow, and the closer you get to achieving those financial goals. And here's where it gets really interesting. Tilbury talks about how a lot of people, after they finish school, just kind of assume that their learning journey is over. But that's just not true. Learning doesn't stop when you graduate. In fact, you could argue that real learning begins when you step outside the classroom and into the real world. Think of the world as one massive classroom with endless opportunities to learn and grow. Every experience, every interaction, every challenge you encounter offers a chance to deepen your understanding and develop new skills. And it's crucial to remember that the skills and knowledge that are highly valued today might be completely different in 5 or 10 years. The ability to learn and adapt quickly is essential for staying ahead of the curve. So how do we embrace this mindset of lifelong learning? How do we ensure we're not just standing still while the world evolves around us? It starts with a simple shift in perspective. Instead of viewing challenges as setbacks, see them as opportunities for growth. Instead of shying away from new experiences, dive in head first instead of assuming everything. Ask questions. Curiosity is the fuel that drives continuous learning. Remember that the more you learn, the more valuable you become. It's an investment in yourself that pays off for a lifetime. And this idea of continuous learning ties directly back to Tilbury's concept of the performance gap. The more you invest in your knowledge and skills, the faster you can close that gap and reach your financial goals. It's like unlocking a secret level in a video game, the ability to continuously learn, adapt, and evolve. So make continuous learning a part of your daily routine, embrace it, and watch as it transforms your life and propels you toward your dreams. And that brings us to another powerful idea from Tilbury, the importance of resource allocation. We've already talked about focusing your resources, time, money, and energy on one primary goal, especially when you're starting out.
But Tilbury takes this a step further by encouraging us to actually visualize our resource allocation. He actually shares his own graph of truth, which is basically a visual representation of how he allocates his resources. And what's striking is how much he prioritizes wealth-building activities. It's a powerful reminder that achieving significant financial success requires intentionality. It's not enough to just work hard. You have to work smart. You have to consciously direct your time, your money, and your energy towards the activities that will move you closer to your goals. So take a moment to think about your own resource allocation. Where are you spending your time? Where is your money going? And perhaps most importantly, where are you directing your energy? Are these activities aligned with your financial aspirations? Are there areas where you could cut back, reprioritize, or even eliminate altogether?
Remember, closing the performance gap isn't always going to be easy. There'll be challenges, setbacks, and times when you feel like giving up, but it's during those tough times that you need to remember why you started in the first place. What's driving you? What's your vision for the future? Hold on to that vision, remind yourself of your goals, and use that as fuel to keep moving forward. Tilbury emphasizes that success isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. It's about getting back up when you fall down, learning from your mistakes, and never giving up on your dreams. So embrace the challenges, see them as opportunities for growth, and remember, every obstacle you overcome makes you stronger and more resilient. Tilbury shows a great quote from Jim Rohn that really drives this point home. Ron said, if you really want to do something, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse.
Think about that for a moment. Are you actively searching for ways to achieve your goals, or are you letting excuses hold you back? We all have excuses. We all have reasons why we can't do something. But successful people don't let those excuses define them. They find ways to work around obstacles, overcome challenges, and keep moving forward, even when it's difficult. So challenge yourself to adopt that same mindset. Don't let excuses dictate your outcomes. Instead, focus on finding solutions, taking action, and making things happen. And that brings us to another crucial point, that Tilbury emphasizes the importance of embracing challenges and turning obstacles into opportunities. He often talks about how he faced numerous obstacles early in his career, from dyslexia to a lack of formal qualifications to even workplace bullying. But instead of letting those obstacles define him, he used them as fuel to work harder, learn more, and prove the doubters wrong. He believes that obstacles are an inevitable part of the journey, but it's how you respond to them that determines your success. He encourages us to ask ourselves a powerful question when we encounter an obstacle. I know you can't right now, but if you could, what would you do?
This simple question shifts our focus from dwelling on the problem to actively seeking solutions. It forces us to think outside the box, to get creative, and to explore all possible options. Remember, obstacles are inevitable, but excuses are a choice. Choose to view obstacles as opportunities for growth, and you'll be amazed at what you can achieve. So there you have it, Mark Tilbury's framework for building wealth, closing that performance gap, finding your value zone, choosing the right vehicle, focusing those resources, turning obstacles into opportunities, and never ever stop learning, man. It's a powerful roadmap. It doesn't matter where you're starting from, it can help you achieve some serious financial success. And remember, this isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. Building wealth takes time and effort and dedication. But with the right mindset and strategies and a willingness to put in that work, you can achieve pretty much anything you set your mind to. If you're ready to dive deeper into Tilbury's world, check out his other videos on this channel. He's got a ton of awesome content that can really help you on that journey to financial freedom. And hey, while you're at it,
Hit that like button, drop a comment below, and subscribe to Speaks Finance for more awesome financial insights and advice. We're here to help you navigate this crazy world of finance, build that wealth, and achieve those goals, whatever they may be. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one.